Hello, hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday, right? I believe it is Tuesday, Tuesday, March the 18th. I believe that is the day that it is. So, welcome to everyone. If you are joining me from YouTube and Facebook, please make sure that you speak, or I will not be able to see that you have joined. Hi, TikTokers. Good to see you guys coming on in here already. What's up, Simply Gabby? Hey, Caitlin. What's up, Dee Dee? How are you? Glad to see everybody. What's up, Winn Dixie, Mary, Michael? Good to see everybody. What's up, Carrie? Hmm. Now that I read that, it might be Kari, but I don't know. Just hello. Hope I didn't jack your name up too bad. What's up, Elaine? How are you? Got a lot to talk about today. Hey, Conchita, how are you? What's up, Eric? Hey, Mary Rose. Hey, Michael. Good to see you. What's up, Get a Get Grammy? What's up, Morty? How are you? Amanda. Christine is fed up. Good to see you. Sherry, DJ Wright. Good to see you as well. What's up, Blue Honey Pot? YouTube, Facebook. Hey, Irma Jean. Good to see you as well. Make sure that you guys are speaking over there. What's up, Marky? How are you? Hope that you are back. Yay, Conchita. I'm glad. Glad to be back and kind of on things, so to speak. So, hey, Tanya. Good to see you over there in the YouTube world. What's up, Carmen? How are you? I see you all over the place. Hey, Tanya, good to see you as well. I think I said that, but I'm not sure. What's up, Brandy? Carol, good to see you. Blue Nevada, Dirty Bad. Yeah, you need a Danny time today. Good, good. What's up, Dirty Bad? Good to see you. Hi, Amy, CJ. Your stuff comes in twice, so I might greet you twice, but better than not at all, right? So needed to search me. That is weird, right? But whatever is what it is. Good morning, Michael. How are you? All right. So YouTube, Facebookers, if you don't comment in the chat, I can't see that you joined. So I'm not ignoring you. I just don't know that you're in there. Which I think I'm going to end up having to upgrade the software. I've been going the cheap route with Restream and just doing like their basic version. What's up, Skywriter? Good to see you. But I think I'm going to have to end up kind of leveling it up so I can go ahead and brand it and all the things. Hey, Wendy Smith, good to see you in YouTube world. What's up, Funny Face? Just there for the dad jokes. Good to see you as well. What's up, Susie Q? But that won't be today. It'll be soon, but not today. I just have a lot of other things that are going on. And we have a lot to talk about today. So there are some things that I want to address. Hey, Puff Puffs. Hey, Jamie Cobe. I want to talk about a couple of things. Oh, did they, CJ? Awesome. Perfect. Let me tell you, I had come back in the house because I was sitting on the balcony doing some work while Mila was playing in her sensory bins. And let me tell you, it was funny because I popped into Don Lemon's at the end of Don Lemon's live. And he had said goodbye off of YouTube, but then was talking to like his production team and had not shut down the TikTok side. So everyone on TikTok was hearing all the personal things that they were saying as if they weren't on the air. And I sent Don a direct message and said, you are still live and people can hear you talking about where people are taking their children and if people are going on vacation or to the doctor and, and what you said to DL Hughley and like all the things like, Don, shut the fucking phone off. Which, let me just say this. Hey, James, let me just say this. Okay. That tells me your TikTok is secondary. It tells me that you don't even give a thought to the folks that are watching you on TikTok, which is a bad look, to be quite frank. Love you, Don, and all the things. But I'm just saying, if you were paying attention to the comments on TikTok, you would have seen that way before I messaged you, right? So it's a bad look, right? Brandy, what's up, witch? Good to see you. So a couple of things that I want to go ahead and talk about. So the grands are doing okay. Dominic and Bella are at school, of course. I got Miss Mila that's hanging out with me today. So we've been doing all the things, and I've been catching up on work and putting some things in into Thinkific for the programs that I have available. I am going to pause you guys. What's up, Stacy D in the place to be? I am going to run away from you guys in just a minute to give Miss Mila her moodles that she has asked for with a blanket on the couch because she knows that we don't get moodles on the blanket on the couch without a blanket because we don't take a chance on spilling the moodles on the blanket, but All right. So hello, it's me. Good to see you, Mimi Wash. Okay, so I want to talk about a couple of different things. What's up, Chris Haven? So I'm going to start. I do want to talk about the federal judge and the hearing yesterday. And I want to talk about kind of the if ands and all the things that people are talking about. And I'm only going to talk about it briefly. I am going to talk about Robert Morris turning himself in yesterday. That's the gentleman. If you are on TikTok, you will see that that's the gentleman that's over here. If you're on YouTube and Facebook, I can share it with you so that you see the same image that TikTok is seeing. Maybe. Oh, I have to unminimize it. Mila, not so loud, sweet baby Jesus. Mila, please. She gets excited, whatever game it is that she's playing. You ever see the people that play? What's up, Linda? You see the people that play video games and they play with their whole bodies. And all of that, that is definitely Mila and Bella. Like they are the play with their whole body, scream out loud, do all the things to the video games. That's them. So give me just a second, folks, and I'm going to dive right in. I'm probably going to answer your questions before you ask them, and then I'll open it up for questions after that. So now YouTube and Facebook, you can see the image that I'm talking about. So that gentleman that is behind Donald Trump, that's right here, that is Robert Morris. He is the not so loud. All right, Tanya. He is the former spiritual advisor to Donald Trump. He was in the White House with him, prayed over him several times in the Oval during the first administration. He turned himself in yesterday. We talked briefly about him the other day. We're going to talk a little bit about it right now. And then we're also going to talk about the hearing that took place yesterday, the answers that the lawyers for the Trump administration gave to the federal judge, what they do and what they don't mean. And I have a sneaky suspicion that not everyone is going to like my perspective on it. And that is okay, right? Like I said yesterday, I am not the Aes Sedai. I will not be shielding and gentling anyone who disagrees with me. You're free to disagree. I am just approaching this from a realistic, productive, positive perspective. Like that's the place that I choose to come from. Because I just don't find anything beneficial in any other way, right? You like the TikTok view better? Yeah, see, there you go. All right, so a couple of things. Let's just kick it off. Should we just, do you want to start with federal judges and hearing yesterday or with Robert Morris and fake Christianity? Where do y'all want to start? Where do you want to dive in first? Judges. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. So there's a lot of speculation that people have about what this means and what it doesn't mean. Okay. So let me just say this. Yesterday, what you had was federal judges asking questions, the federal judge asking questions. When was this order given? When did this flight take off? When did this happen? When did that happen? The judge wanted a fact-finding hearing, right? Shit versus shit, right, Blue Honey Pot? That's what they wanted. And what you heard from the Trump lawyers was, we're not telling you that. We're just not gonna tell you that, right? Which people are like, well, holy shit, what does that mean? I don't know. Listen, folks, it could mean charges, it could mean fines, it could mean all kinds of things for different people. Here's where the challenge comes in. Okay. The challenge comes in is that the DOJ is part of the Trump administration. And so if a federal judge were to say that something needed to be executed when it comes to the folks that are part of the Trump administration, you would be dependent upon the Department of Justice. You would be dependent upon, that part of the executive branch to carry out those federal orders. Okay. So I don't know. I think that, I think this is going to be where the rubber meets the road, which is why I have included in my link tree all the contact information for the Supreme Court. And the reason why I've done that is very simple. I think we are at this place where it is going to be incredibly important. What's up, Wawa? For us to be about the business of doing our part, right? So we don't get to control what a federal judge does or doesn't do. We don't get to determine what the Department of Justice does or doesn't do, right? The reality is, let me just say this, folks. If the lawyers for the, I know they're almost done. Yeah, he's on the printer. I know. So if you have a situation where people are willing to stand in front of a federal judge and say, I'm not giving you those facts, right? Then those folks are probably willing to go the mile unless it becomes very real for them. And so the question is, how do we make it real? I'm not part of the DOJ. I'm not part of the district court system or the Supreme Court, so I don't have the answers to those. Hey, not so loud. What I would recommend, someone whose legal analysis I love to listen to is Andrew Weissman and Neil Cattell. When it comes to legal questions, I love to listen to Andrew Weissman and Neil Cattell because, hey, don't do that, please, because they tend to be stellar and have a really good sense of things. One moment. Hey, Mila, I said they're almost done, and what I want you to do is not yell. Indoor voice only, Mila. So that's what I would say. Now, for those of you guys who go, oh my God, that's scary. Here's what I would say is you can choose how scary you want to make that because it's always been the case. The situations that we have right now have always been the case, right? What's up, Cheryl? Good morning. So the position that I'm taking for is I'm kind of grateful for the situation that we are in right now because it is exposing every vulnerability that we have as a country. It is exposing every vulnerability that we have as a country. And I think that that's important. I think it's important for us to become aware of the places of vulnerability that we have to be addressed in order for us to move forward successfully as a productive, cohesive, unified country. So what I'm doing for me personally is I am shifting my perspective. I am shifting my perspective to a perspective of gratitude for every hole that I see, for every intersectionality that says, oh shit, that's not great. I'm shifting my perspective and my energy around it from the, oh my God, I'm terrified to great. Now we know we need to fix that shit. And what does that look like? And who are the people that can fix that? We are, and the people that we elect. So that's the attitude, folks. The attitude is, oh, I don't like that. This is a gaping problem in the system of checks and balances. So what is the legislation needed to close that loop? Right? Appreciate it, Smile City, right? What's up, Mama Dukes? Do you see what I'm saying, folks? So give me one moment while I get this girl some schmoodles. For those of you all who do not know, moodles are ramen. She loves ramen. That is what she wants. I started cooking them before I went live so that they could be ready. I can fix them for her, and then we can move on with things, okay? So I'm still going to talk. You're still going to hear me. You just won't see me for a second. Okay, guys? That's what's about to happen. So be right back, but I'm still going to be talking, okay? So one of the most powerful things that I believe that we can do right now is to shift our perspective and the way that we are choosing to look at the things that are happening around us and what we make them mean. Do you all remember when we were on one of the lives, and it might have been in my subscribers only Discord, but I think that it was on a TikTok as well. But do you all remember when we were talking about what the difference between what has happened and what we choose to make that thing mean, and how powerful that distinction is when we make it, right? So, Mila, I'm putting your noodles in the freezer for a minute just so they can cool off for you, okay? I'll get them out in 1 second. Good girl. You're already up there with your blanket. I see you. I'm coming. So this is the part that is incredibly important, all right? So let me give it to you this way, okay? There are people, this type of anxiety, this type of worry, this type of fear, this type of anger even sells. It gets clicks, it gets views, it gets donations, it gets Venmos, it gets Cash Apps, it gets shares and subscribers. That type of energy resonates with people because it's the easiest to tap into. Listen to me. We tap into, oh my God, TikTok. Here's the damn flash goal thing, right? 40 gifters to send a rose in 15 minutes. That's what it wants. Jesus Christ. It's going to go ding, 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 ding for all of you guys, but it wants specifically 40 different damn people. All right. So listen, follow me when I say this. As people, as individuals, as a society, it is easier to tap into fear, anger, anxiety. It is easier to tap into those and sit in them because, believe it or not, they feel more comfortable than accountability, vulnerability, courage, all of those things. They just do. It's where we like to sit in places that are familiar, even if they're not good for us. That's what those emotions are. And there are people that would rather sit in anxiety and fear and anger than sit in the place where they have to look at their own accountability, their own lack of action, or their own negative action, or their contribution to the issues. Follow me? I appreciate you guys. So I'm just not doing it. Right. It's like staying with an ex. Absolutely. Right. It's like and that's what people are wanting to do. And I'm just over it. I am not. So listen, there are people that I respect for what they do and how they do it even, right? Well, no. Sometimes I lied. That wasn't entire truth. There are people that I respect for what they do and the intention behind what they do, not necessarily how they do it. You all know that I'm a word girl. And I'm a word girl because I truly believe in the power of words. Now, if you're like me and you grew up in the Southern Baptist Church, then, you grew up in the world of declare and decree it, right? Declare a thing to be so, right? Speak those things that are not as though they are, right? But if you grew up in the world of Wicca and whatever, you grew up in the world of making a spell, which is also calling those things that are not as though they are, right? I don't care what religion you are in, most of us, or what faith, most of us understand the power that comes with our words and the energy behind them. Yeah. So having said every bit of that, I heard Don today say, waking up another day in hell. No, sir, you can claim that for you. Don't claim another day in hell for me, because I don't choose another day in hell. I give zero fucks what Donald Trump is doing. I refuse to have my everyday life be a day of hell. And I'm the person that gets to determine if I am living in heaven or hell. I create heaven or hell on this earth. I get to. No one else gets to. I am not giving my power to anyone else. I don't give a shit who is sitting in the office. By the way, folks, whoever is sitting in office does not dictate the majority of your day-to-day life. Yes, baby. I see Titan crawled up there and he's laying on you. Sweet boy. Right? So another fact. Right. So let me just say this. The federal judges, do they have things that they can do? Sure. But when it comes down to the nitty gritty, the stuff that actually is like significant in terms of action, that they require the executive branch to execute it, which to me means what? An opportunity. We have an opportunity to fix that gap. We now have an opportunity, now that we've identified that as a problem, because if the federal court system, if the federal district courts, and if the Supreme Court is supposed to be one of the checks and balances when it comes to the federal administration, guess what? That means that those district judges and the Supreme Court cannot be reliant upon the DOJ. Hey, what's up, Jen, or the marshals if they are part of the branch that needs to be checked, right? So this is beautiful. Now that we know this, what does it look like? What's an idea? What are several ideas of how to fix this? Do we now make the DOJ? Do we now make the US Marshals? Do we now make those individuals outside of the current the administration? Do they become something that is separate? And how does that happen? And how does that work? Do they become something that is separate and overseen by a different body that is outside of the executive administration, right? The executive branch? I don't know, but that's the conversation we've got to be having with our elected officials. You hear me? Good morning, Alice. You see what I'm saying? What's up, Slim Shady? So these are some of the things that, again, I'm making notes. I literally have notes over here going, ooh, I love the fact I need for you all to understand something, right? Understand something. Other than the Civil War, right? The United States of America has not had a significant challenge to its democratic constitutional republic. We haven't. We might have if things had not, come to light with Nixon. We might have seen that a lot sooner, but they didn't, right? And we took the easy road out, right? We took the political road, right? Thanks, Brandy. Yeah, so 5 more people need to send 1 rose for this TikTok flash goal thing in 8 minutes. Appreciate it, Laura. So yeah, so what it is TikTok wants 1 from each person. Share the recording, please. Oh, that went by so fast. Of this live in Discord, so important. Yeah. So, good morning, T. What's up, handsome? Thanks, Cam. I appreciate it. Good morning, Farah. Hey, Veronica. Okay, appreciate you guys. I believe we literally hit the goal. Love that. Thank you all so much. But do you all see what I'm saying about this? Instead of saying, ooh, this is so scary, I'm sitting back going, I am so glad we are learning this right now. And I would rather learn this during my adulthood than have it be something that gets discovered when it's my grandbaby's turn. I want to know it now so that I can help do whatever actions are necessary and required to adjust it and create something new before they are in the place that we are in now. Like, that's our responsibility. What's up, Erica? You follow me? So it's a shift. Ooh, look at this opportunity. That's it, Stacy D. It's, ooh, look at this opportunity. Do you know what makes all of this scary, y'all? Is because it's the unknown. That is what has people truly scared, is because it's the unknown. We've never had people sitting in the White House, right, who are intentionally attempting to create a society built on fascism and the broligarchy. Y'all like that word, broligarchy? I heard that from a chick on The Daily Show, right? Right. Human beings, we're not really fond of change. We don't like change that we don't know the outcome. We like what is familiar. Hence the fact that we date the same asshole for such a long time. And asshole, by the way, is gender fluid. Asshole could be male, female, non-binary. I don't care. Asshole is asshole. Okay. So that's the thing. So now what we have to say is, you know what? Get it together. Hey, Linda. Get off your back. Love you, Stacy. But do you see what I'm saying? We choose the same politicians knowing good and damn well they don't mean good for us. You cannot convince me that all of the people back home think that Rusty Dewey Crow gives a damn about the people of Northeast Tennessee. I know that they know he doesn't. But nobody's running against him. And everybody just reelects him because it's the norm. Well, We didn't die on the Rusty yet, so it must not be that bad. You know what I mean? Right. Ted Cruz bin trash. Hey, Lisa. What's up, Thomas? Do you see what I'm saying? So the first thing that I'm going to say to you with regard to these federal judges and the questions about did they disregard an order or did they not? I'm going to come back to our 1, 2, and 3 process to help us work through this. 1, it's not in any of our circle of control. We don't control the Trump administration and we don't control that federal judge, right? Number 2, we don't influence the Trump administration as to whether or not they obey federal orders or not, right? Maybe we do or don't influence federal judges and Supreme Court justices. Maybe we do or we don't. I don't know. But how do you test the waters and see? You contact the Supreme Court. So in my link tree, which all of you all know that the link tree is on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok in my profile. When you go there, the very first link says contact for the Supreme Court. Okay. When you go there, here's what it says. Of course, you can snail mail it, which you can. Yes, we could do that, Veronica. I shared that yesterday with people that many people don't know. You can contact the Supreme Court. You can remind the Supreme Court of their duty to the Constitution and law, not to administrations, not to politicians, it's to the law and the Constitution, right? What's up, Gina? So you can send things in mail. And let me just say this to you all. I love snail mail sometimes because snail mail means you took the time. Snail mail means you took the time to put pen to paper and put a damn postage stamp on that sucker and send it in. And it's meaningful. They have to take the time to open an envelope, pull out a letter, pull out a card, right? Once it goes through security. And the dog sniffing out and all of that, right? But it indicates an intention. It indicates the fact that this means enough to me that I'm going to take the time to write this out. It means enough to me that I'm going to make reference to these portions of the Constitution. It means enough to me that I'm going to reference this part of the Federalist Papers. It means enough to me that I'm going to refer back to a memorial and a remonstrance. It means enough to me that I'm going to do that, right? You follow me? So now, other general contact things. There's a telephone number, and it's in there, 202-479-3000. That's a general number, right? There's also, if you have time-sensitive or urgent questions, there's a public information office. That number is 202-479-3211. Nope, I'm not going to repeat it. That's why it's in the link tree. Go to the link tree, click the number. It's there for you. Got it? Now, the Supreme Court does not have a public comment phone line, which I get, right? It's different than your senator having a district. The Supreme Court is the law of the land, right? But it's available. So then you can also go to, there's a public information office where you can mail. And then there's a clerk's office telephone number, visitor information line, and all of those things. How do you know if there are midterm elections in your area? Let me get her noodles real quick, folks. And then I will tell you how you find out about your noodles. My link tree is your Bible. I love that. Okay. So you can actually go contact your local county election office, and you will be able to know if there are special elections, if there are primaries, if there are dates. You can get sample ballots. You can find out all the information that you need to know going to your local county election office. Here, baby. There's your noodles. You're welcome. They're warm for you. So that is the way that you can do it. So yeah, you can do ballotopia.com, and you can do other websites. You can go to bluevoterguide.us and put your information in. You can do all those things. One of the reasons why I'm encouraging you to pick up the phone and contact your local county elections office, because it tells them, oh shit, there are local people who are interested in special elections. There are local people that want to know, are we having primaries and when are they? There are people right here in this community that want this information. They don't know that when you just go to Ballotopia, whatever it is, all the online websites. Like they don't know it when you just go there. And there's nothing wrong with going there to get the information at all. And I think it's powerful when they realize that local constituents want that local information and they want it now. Because y'all know, if you know, I always think, because I'm from a small town, and what I know about big cities are big cities are just a grouping of smaller towns. You follow me? Even big cities are just groupings in small towns. Have y'all ever watched like Love is Blind or Married at First Sight or what are some of the others? Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? And I've seen them where they've had this shows in Charlotte and in Atlanta, and you're like, oh my God, those are major cities, right? Those are major cities. And then have you ever noticed that they know some of the same damn people? Because even in big major cities, it's a small world. And people tend to move in the same, right, Cam? They all know each other, or they know somebody that knows somebody's, right? 6 degrees of separation. So it matters when we let our state and our local election offices know that we want that information. Sandra said, Lord, I finally found the link tree. I'm so glad you finally found the link tree, Sandra. But do you follow me? So yes, you can find that information online. And it's also really, really great and beneficial to pick up the phone and call your local elections office and ask questions. Ask them where to go online and look at, because listen, when you get on a county level, folks, it gets very minuscule. So check this out. Have you ever looked up election data and like the financial disclosures for like people that are running for your local county commission? Have you ever looked at those? You know, when we look at congressional races and even state races, it's electronic. And you're looking it up and everything's in this big, beautiful dashboard. But when you're looking at a local level, folks are handwriting out all these forms and they're scanning them in, right? It's still very old. It's still very local. It's still very small. It's still very, you see what I'm saying? Right? Appreciate you, Amy. And so that's a good thing to know because it is still small. And they want you all so focused on the big picture that you forget about how much power you have locally. They want you to forget how much power you have locally. And what I will tell you is, if you have elections coming up, primaries, if you have special elections coming up, if you have regular elections coming up, you have judges that are getting ready to be elected, folks. What do you know about them? What do you know about the people that are running for office as your judges locally? Yeah, Veronica, I saw her on Facts Live several weeks ago. I still have never heard from her people. But do you follow me? What do you know about them? Are you asking questions? Have you looked up their financial disclosure? Have you looked up any of that information to see who's contributing? Are they getting loans from anybody in order to run? Are they loaning money to themselves? And if so, how much? And where do they get all that damn money from? Like all the things. Okay. So I want you to take a deep breath around, oh, the judge said this and they did that. Take a deep breath around that, because that is a fight that is bigger than you and me. So what can you do? Do whatever you can in order to influence, whether that's writing, emailing, calling, right? Demonstrating, protesting. Those are all really, really powerful things that you can do. And that's why I put the contact information for the Supreme Court in the link tree. And then keep your peace. Keep your peace. You know, I put up a post this morning and I said, listen, I want you all to think about something right now. There are people that are refusing. Thanks, Jesse James. Right now, there are people that are refusing to follow unconstitutional orders. Right now, there are people that are preserving data that the administration wants to scrub and erase. Right now, there are people that are downloading information so that we have it no matter what happens to it. Y'all know that, right? Right now, people are still winning. Right now, there are people who have their jobs back who they thought they could just fire, and now they're back in those positions. Find the good places, find the lessons, find the opportunities, find the areas where you can give gratitude for what we are experiencing. So, listen, have you ever heard this, that whenever you're going through a really rough time in your life, the fastest way to be done with it is to go through it. And in order, the fastest way to go through it is to figure out what's the lesson. Have you ever heard that the fastest way to get on the other side of something is to figure out what is the universe trying to teach you? What is God trying to teach you? What is your higher self needing to learn? We need to be asking ourselves that question on an individual, community, state, and country level. Y'all hear me? We have to be asking that. What is the lesson for me as an individual? What is the lesson for me as a community? I can tell you what I think the lesson for all of us as a country is. One of them is, do not put democracy on autopilot, because freedom is not guaranteed. Your rights are not guaranteed. Everything that has been given can be taken away. So that's the first lesson. So what does that mean? You cannot check the fuck out. If you need a break, if you need to take a weekend away, if you need to put your feet in the earth, if you need to go get by the ocean, if you need to, get out in the woods and go camping, whatever it is that you might need to do, plan those things, plan your breaks, plan your resets, and then get back to the business, because you don't get to check out. What's up, Jen? Right? You don't get to just be like, you know what? Okay, I'm tired of this. When people say that Black women are sitting this one out, bullshit, and you better not be. Bullshit, and you better not be. Because we don't have that luxury. Yeah. So, and here's my thing. So, civic engagement, when I hear about these reduction in force plans, right, when they're talking about, it's only going to be by 20% and it's only going to be that, I don't really know what those things are and aren't going to be. And whatever they are going to be is going to be between the federal government, the administration, and the court system. Right. And so I have to know my position. Some of y'all are worried about things that, and when I say worried about them, I mean giving too much energy to them. There is a difference. You do need to be aware. But some of you all, let me tell y'all what, do y'all remember yesterday when I showed you all my wall of words? So YouTube and Facebook, I wasn't live with you yesterday. Sorry. But TikTok I was. And yesterday I shared with people 4 different things that are hanging on my living room wall. What's up, Robin? And what's up, Nicole Bell? And they are, it's what I call my wall of words. And one of them at the very top says, you always win the game you're playing. Do you want to know what game some of you all are playing? Some of you all are playing oh my God, life is so stressful. It's so horrendous. Everything is in a political uproar. I don't know how we're going to make it. Some of you all, that's the game you're playing. Some of you all are playing the worst case scenario game. Some of you all are playing the another day in hell game. Some of you all are playing the history repeats itself, Hitler rises again game. And I'm not playing that fucking game. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Civic engagement. I hear you. And so, like, I have folks that are on my TikTok that are federal employees that have shared certain things when they've gotten reduction in force letters. And here's my thing: is because I simply don't trust the administration. I don't trust the letters. Right? I think it's a high low roller coaster. And so what I refuse to do is to have my emotions dictated by somebody else. I'm not riding anybody else's emotional roller coaster. You hear me? I am not riding anybody else's emotional roller coaster. I'm not. I am an adult, which means I am able to see something, right? And know these are the possibilities and go, oh wow, if I let it, it can make my emotions go all the way up here and all the way down here and all the way here and all the way there, right? Like I grew up in the South. And so Kay, that's another game that you're playing, right? Kay, that's what I'm talking about. That game. Kay said my own roller coaster is enough. Uh-uh. Listen, if it's my roller coaster, I'm damn sure not making myself sick. What? Kay, why do you want that to be so? Why would you want your roller coaster to be enough? No, ma'am. It's your roller coaster. Yes, baby. Okay, I got you. Huh? She said, "I want some juice on the couch, the blanket." So, and Eve, I'm going to get you with the I try. I'm coming, baby. Let me get your juice. So listen, folks, it's your roller coaster. You get to determine how high the highs are and how low the lows are and how many loops there are and how many twists there are. Like, don't build your roller coaster so that it makes you sick every damn day. You said you knew it once you sent it. I love that. Yes, yes. So let me tell you something. Eve, I had a friend of mine. She taught me how to crochet years ago, right? Hold on, watch. So this is one of my very first blankets that I made. Thank you guys for hitting the goal. So see my blanket. Oh, TikTok, you can't see. There, now you can. See? It's one of my very first blankets, right? And so when my friend Larry taught me how to crochet, I had had my major knee surgery, right? And on that knee surgery, they cut my right leg open 8 inches. They severed my patella tendon. They sliced my IT band. They moved my patella, my kneecap, like down and over. And then in order to reattach it, they put a 4-prong staple in the bone. So I was on crutches for 11 weeks and all the things. And so Laurie taught me how to crochet, granny square, as a matter of fact. And so I called her one night because I had started to crochet a blanket. And we were running our mouths on the phone and I'm crocheting and I said, shit. And she said, what? And I said, I messed up. I said, I got to undo this whole square because I made a mistake. And she said, girl, that is so great. And I said, what do you mean it's great? It is not great that I have to undo an entire square of this blanket. And she said, no, it's great because you recognized you made a mistake. That means you're learning. If you never knew that you did 2 instead of 3, you'd keep right on going. And when you finish, you'd have a blanket, but it'd be, uneven. The fact that you stop after the mistake, the fact that you realize it after you've done it means that you are learning. Means not only are you learning, but you are putting it into practice. And that, my friends, is powerful. So when you say things out of your mouth, and as soon as you say it, you go, damn, I didn't need to say that. Great. That means you are learning it. That means you are mastering it because now you recognize when you're not doing it. That's powerful stuff, right? Yeah. So when you notice your mistakes, when you notice your errors right after you commit them, perfect. That means now you know better. Now you know better and you're working on doing better. And that's the part that's amazing, right? Mila's good, Linda. All right, let me get this baby. Appreciate you, John. So 1 second, I'm gonna get her some juice to go with her moodles, and her blanket. So as we're talking about this, guys, you don't get to control the federal judges. I don't get to control the federal judges. We don't get to control the DOJ. What we do get to do is pay attention and take note of the areas of opportunity that we have to fix holes in the system that aren't working for our highest good. Great. So once we notice them, here's the seat. Here, you want a drink? And now I can put it down. You got it? Okay, I'm gonna put it right down and break it. No, I'm gonna put. No, it'll fall over. I'm putting it right here on this box, right beside the couch. Okay. Okay. So here's the thing, folks. Now you get to say, all right. So how can we fix this? We get the opportunity now to figure out. Ooh, do y'all know how long it's been since we have improved upon the Constitution that we have? Do y'all know how long it's been since we've added an amendment that really has a significant impact on either the lives of people or protecting democracy? Yes, Sandy. The 60s and 70s, right? The 60s and 70s. And so when I say that to you guys, right, I want you to just stop and think about how amazing and incredible that is, because we are in such a unique and awesome and amazing time that we now get to, we have people that think they are doing something that harms us, that are actually helping us protect ourselves in the future. Appreciate it. Yeah, the ERA should have made it in the 70s and 80s too. Absolutely, CJ, right? But so then we have to ask ourselves this question, right? So what happened? So that's a great point, CJ, and I'm so glad you brought up the ERA. So for those of you guys who aren't familiar, when we say ERA, we are talking about the Equal Rights Amendment, right? So let me just give you all this. Why did the people in the state of Virginia, right? Why in the state of Virginia did people sit back and allow people to be elected to Congress for decades upon decades without requiring them to ratify the ERA? Why in the absolute holy hell did the people in the Commonwealth of Virginia allow it to take until 2020 for them to ratify the ERA? Right, Veronica. Why did the people of Illinois, the Democratic, progressive, right, state of Illinois, why did it take them until 2018? And these are the questions that we have to be asking ourselves. No, so here's the thing, Marky. All the states have ratified it as of 2020. The challenge is this. Once a piece of legislation has passed and Congress passed it, right? You have 10 years. Thanks for subscribing, Terrence. You have 10 years for it to be ratified. You're done with your moodles? Okay, let me grab them for you. So you have 10 years for each state. There has to be 38 states that ratify it in order for it to be added to the Constitution. And you only have 10 years to get, you only have 10 years to get 38 states to ratify it. And it didn't take 10 years. It took 40, 50 damn years, right? So this is the question. This is, again, the lesson from history, and we get to determine if we make it into an opportunity, okay? So the lesson is, we sat around and we thought once Congress passed it, we were done. So what does that tell me? Not enough people understood the ratification process and what it took to actually add something to the Constitution. Not enough people did that, right? I want to make sure I don't break my necklace. So that's number one. Number two, people weren't holding elected officials accountable once they understood a thing, right? There's not, I don't care if you're Tim Warner, Tim Kaine, Glenn Youngkin. I don't care who you are. But people need to be asking the leaders of the Commonwealth of Virginia, the leaders in Illinois, why they do not want everyone to have their rights protected. Because that's what it boils down to, y'all. That's what it boils down to. So again, that's a lesson. Don't put the shit on autopilot. Don't put it on auto. There's nothing. Listen, how about this? Politics and policy and Congress is not a it's not a one-player sport. It's not a two-player sport. You can't put it on autopilot. You can't put it on cruise control. Congress isn't a Tesla. It doesn't automatically drive itself, which I don't really trust. If y'all call me crazy, but I've seen the movie iRobot. I don't want a car that drives for me. I really don't. And it's not because I'm a control freak. It's because I want to know where the fuck I'm going. And I know that computers are only as good as we are. Right? It's not for me. The only thing I want my vehicle to do, listen. Okay, so y'all know I'm a Marvel girl. Give me, okay, so do y'all remember Captain America Winter Soldier? And do you remember, shut up, T. Do y'all remember when Fury is in the SUV, right? And Shield is coming for him, and they're coming on the street, and they run into the car from the side, and they're like, auto defenses deploy, recommend, da-da-da. And he's like, wait, he's like, what is functioning properly? And they're like, the air conditioning. And he's like, really? Right? And then he waits until the window, listen to this, y'all. He waits until the window vulnerability is all the way down to just 1% until like it's ready to crack. He waits. The attack is coming. The attack is coming. And he's like, don't deploy that. Don't deploy it yet. Wait. Wait. How many of you all know that if you counteract too soon, before they run out of ammo, before you can actually get to them as much as you need to, then they just wait for you to run out of ammo, and then they just go ahead and take you out. You hear me? You got to have a plan. Fury had a plan. Fury said, I want you to wait until that window integrity is at 1%. And then when I deploy those countermeasures, while they are fending off the countermeasures, I'm cutting a hole in the floor and I'm getting out of that thing. You hear me? Fury had a plan. What I see right now is a lot of countermeasures and no long-term plan. I see a lot of countermeasures from a distance. Everybody in the comments on TikTok is saying, not until you see the whites of their eyes. Right. So you will have to start thinking about this in terms of long-term strategy. What is the long-term strategy? Some of y'all not going to like it when I say it. What am I going to tell you all? Who is going to save you? Do you all actually believe that district judges and the Supreme Court is going to save you? Yes or no? We are. We are. We are. We are. It is us. It is us all damn day, y'all. It is us all damn day. Do y'all know how long the court system takes? A long time. A long time. By the time we wait for something to get to the Supreme Court, for all the motions to be filed and for things to be pushed back and for things to be rescheduled and for this to happen and that to happen, we're done. So instead, you better be focused on your immediate special elections, your immediate primaries, your immediate town halls, your immediate community events. Who's running for office? How many seats do you have that are running unopposed? You all better not let it have a single seat be running unopposed. No seat. No seat runs unopposed. Y'all hear me? No seat runs unopposed. That means I don't give a damn if you run. Run. If it comes down to nobody, if nobody else has stepped up to do it, it's on you. And you might say, well, Dani, does that apply to you? I will say this. Yes. I will not say where I live, but what I will say is that when it comes time for the midterms, if no one is running against either of my two Republican senators, I would run. How about that? I'll put my actions, my words backed up with my actions. I usually do. But I'm just saying, if we don't have somebody running against them, then I will. And let me just say this, it kind of makes me slightly excited because I would dog walk the fuck out of both of these raggedy ass men. That I will say. And joyfully, gleefully do it. Like joyfully, gleefully do it. Swear on everything good and holy. And I'm not in Tennessee, by the way, y'all. I am somewhere ridiculously conservative, though. But let me just tell you this. I have no desire. I have no desire to sit in Congress, but I would. I have no desire, but I would. And the only reason I would is for my daughters, your daughters, my grandsons, your sons and grandsons, right? My mothers, your mothers, my mom's Social Security, your mom's Social Security, right? My mom's VA survivors benefits, your parents' survivors benefits. You hear me? That's why. That's the only reason why. And by the way, where I'm at, no, I wish I was in a more progressive place. I wish I had taken my ass right on back to Atlanta, but I'm not there. I'm not. I'm where I was needed. All right. But this is going to be my challenge to every single one of you. This is my challenge to every single one of you. If you do not have someone opposing people, then you better run. And I don't give a damn what you've done in your past. I give zero fucks. We will turn it into a win. We can turn every bit of that into a win. You used to be a prostitute, a sex worker. Got you. I got you. Listen, I got you. Do you want to know how you turn that into a win? Listen, come on. I'm going to help y'all. Y'all ready? So I didn't come from a family of riches and whatever. Nobody paid my way through college. Nobody took care of my children for me. Nobody did any of that. And so you know what? I used the God-given skills that I had to do what I needed to do to take care of me and mine. And any work is work. All work is work. And if you don't believe that SMEX work is work, ask the wife of a husband. Listen to me. Ask a wife if sex work ain't work. It is. It is. Because for many men who don't have emotional intelligence, sex works is their therapy. It's work. Right. So what is it about having been, and I've never been, but I'm just saying, I'm pretending right now. Let's just say that I'm running for Congress. And I can say to you, listen, I want to tell you because listen, the other side has done opposition research. So I'm putting out this ad because I'd rather you hear it from me than hear from anybody else. A, because no one can ever shame me for surviving. There's a lot of things that you might be able to shame me for, but surviving ain't one of them. Surviving is not one of them. There's not a single ad that you can put out that would say, oh, she did this in order to take care of herself and her family. You will never shame me for surviving. My opponent did it the same. Do you know what he did though? He hired a really fancy law firm and an accountant to cheat on his taxes. And that's how he survived. I survived by doing legal sex work. See, one of us did it a hard way that some people might look down on, but it was honest work. My opponent did it with unhonest work. Folks, give me unpopular, honest work over fraud and give me that all day. Do you know what that tells you? That tells you that at the end of the day, when the rubber meets the road and I am sitting in Congress on your behalf, I'm going to take the honest road. It might not be pretty. It might not be popular, but that's the road I'm going to take. I'm going to take the hard, honest road. So if that's you and you were a sex worker and you are scared to run for office, that's how you do it. Get the fuck in front of it. Don't let anybody tell on you before you tell on yourself. You tell people. And you tell people straight up, I'm not telling your daughter. I wouldn't glorify this work at all because there are dangers. But guess what? There are dangers for your daughters just existing in the world that we have today. There are dangers for your daughters in just being born. There are dangers in your daughters when they reach puberty. Right? So I'm not glorifying the work at all. Right? But I'm also not going to let some man shame me. Or some woman, some of y'all snooty women that want to shame me, absolutely not. Because y'all do it too. You just do it and you just get married. See, some of us won't give somebody legal control over us, but y'all doing the same thing. Y'all doing the same thing. You having sex with your husbands to belong to the country club. You're having sex with your husbands, right? For your Lexus outside or your Tesla, right? Or for visas, both the kind that buy stuff and the kind that bring you to the country, right? But we're just not dumb enough to do that, right? Like real talk. Just tell the damn truth. Because quiet is kept, right? People can say, "Oh, well, you're taking money for sex." Girl, that's what that Marc Jacobs dress is in there. That's what the Michael Kors shoes on your feet are. That's what your 75-inch TV is. That's what that Mercedes is. You just also gave him legal rights to you. See, we didn't do all that. Right? What's another example? What's another example of something you've done in your past that you think means you can't run for office? What is something else? Give me an example. Anybody. What you do? Anything. Give me any example and I'm going to tell you how to previous arrest. Got you. Be specific, John. Give me what kind of arrest? Oh, okay. We can do all that. We can do all the things. Okay. So I got DUIs on here. What else do I have? So I have questions. In the DUI situation, was anybody unalived? I'll do AB next. Because Typically, though, in the DUI situation, if somebody was unalived, then you probably got a felony and you couldn't run anyway. So no unaliving. Perfect. Yep, he sure did, Maya. Sandy Hush, you and the bubble gum. Higher education, Grumps, I got that. All right, let's do these. I'm going to do DUI. Okay, and then I have substance abuse. I got that too. Girl, that's a third of Congress right now, Linda. Linda over in Facebook said, substance abuse. I said, shit, that's a third of Congress right now. Okay, but let's do it. Okay, you ready? So remember, the purpose of this exercise is what? The purpose of this exercise is for all of you all who are sitting in areas, right? Right. It's literally everybody in office, right? Okay, so listen, let me just say this. No, you can't, Bree. Only for the presidency. No, ma'am, Bree, you cannot. No, you can't. You cannot be in Congress with a felony. Just the presidency. How about that? Okay, so let me give it to you. The purpose of this exercise is to demonstrate that if you have a seat that is running unopposed, you are going to run. Do you hear me? If you have a seat that is running unopposed, you are going to run. Good morning, Mary Hubbard. You ready? So, and now what we are doing is we are covering all the reasons you may not want to run that you think might disqualify you. And the first one that we covered was anybody that had engaged in sex work in the past. You got OnlyFans? I got you, girl. And we just explained, I just gave my analysis on how to handle that if you were going to run for office, right? Yep. Right. Just saying. Okay, so here we go. Okay. Okay, Cheryl, I got you. Hold on. I'm writing them down. Oh, can I do you first? Okay, listen. I'm going to do all of these in the order that but I'm going to end with this. I'm going to start with this last one. So this is the example that I was just given. The example that I was just given was quit a job, walked out on a job, have 3 kids with 3 daddies, have a kid in legal trouble, and had an AB. Okay. All right. So this would be me. If I was the campaign manager for this particular individual, and this was all the things, I have questions. So hypothetically speaking, did the AB happen in the teens, 20s, 30s, or 40s? Hypothetically speaking, that's going to be my first question, not because it has to do with the validity, but because it has to do with messaging. We want to give me a situation. 20s, got it. So AB in the 20s, got it. Oh, she said say the teens. That's even, got it. We can do teens and 20s. Let's do that. All right, so here we go. So, oh yeah, Dirty Bad, I got you. You ready? So listen, this is me helping prepare. So now this is the messaging that I'm giving to this candidate on how they're going to prepare something. So this is our, so there's going to be a longer social media clip for this, and then there's going to be a regular TV ad for this. We're going to roll TV, we're going to roll social media first. Then we'll roll out, after we do social media first, then we do an online virtual town hall, right? Open for questions and discussion. And then we roll out TV ads afterwards. And we roll out those TV ads, and we include in those TV ads the perspectives of people before and after the town hall. So it's a 3-step process for this potential candidate that I would recommend. Okay. So first thing is your social media. That social media is, I'm going to say, can be no longer than 3 to 5 minutes. I want a 3 to 5 minute video clip from this candidate. Okay. Town hall is going to be 1 week later, virtual. And we're going to have it ready to RSVP. We're going to have it ready so that people can watch that social media clip and go and register right to that town hall. Okay. Part of the questionnaire when people register to the town hall is what's your opinion of this candidate and of these issues, which is your most concerning and why? Okay. What's your opinion of this candidate? What's out of all the issues, that this candidate has had in life and faced in life, which do you find the most concerning for her to be in Congress, to represent you in Congress, and why? So that is your little, when you RSVP for a virtual Zoom and there's like a little question at the bottom, that's the question that we want from everybody, because we're going to go through those to pick the people to follow up with on the back end. Got it? So here's how it works. So give me a second. I need to look at something. I'm looking up real quick, just a couple of quick stats. And this is me on the fly doing this. You ready? Okay. All right. You ready? Okay. So this is me now, and I'm pretending to be this particular constituent. You ready? Yes. Let me do that. Thanks, Sandy, before I get going. All right, you guys ready? I'm going to pretend that I'm this candidate. Somebody give my candidate a name. What's my candidate's name? Just give me a fake first name. Give my candidate a fake first name, because I got to say one. Okay, damn. I came back. Y'all gave me all kind of them. The first one that came in was Joelle. That's the first one. All right. All right. Okay, so here's how I go. Hey folks. So my name is Joelle Smith, and as you know, I am running for Congress in your district. And the reason why you're seeing the social media post is because I have watched politics in my lifetime become a very nasty, ugly place. And before you know anything about me from anybody else, I'd rather you get to know me from me. Now, the things that I'm going to share with you are things that I have experienced in this life. I'm not ashamed of not a single one of these things, because what I know is that we do the best we can based on who we are at the time that we go through life. Because if we knew better, we'd do better, right? But I know that my opponent would love to use all of these things or any one of these things against me. So these things are part of who I am, and I'm grateful for them because they've made me who I am. And that's why I'm sharing them with you. They are not all of me, though. You ready? All right. So, I don't know if you all are aware of this, but about every 9 minutes, Child Protective Services finds credible evidence to support a claim of child sexual abuse. Like, that's a thing. Every 9 minutes. 1 in 9 girls under the age of 18 have experienced it at the hands of someone that they know, someone that's supposed to protect them and love them. And I've been in that same category, right? I don't blame victims ever, whether they are children or whether they are grown adults. I don't blame them. And if my opponent wants to blame me for things that I've experienced that grown adults committed against me, then that might speak to their character and not mine. I've also chosen to handle the outcome of those circumstances in a way that some people do, right? So I have had an AB, and on TikTok, I have to say AB, y'all. And what I will tell you is this. I'm going to share this with you. Um, I don't care how old you are, how young you are. I don't care what the circumstances are. I can tell you from firsthand experience, that choice is never taken lightly. It is never done easily. And it is still not something that I'm going to be ashamed of. Because again, I did the best I could based on who I was and what I know at the time. My opponent will tell you that I've quit a job before. I will say, hell yes, I have. And I hope that if you ever find yourself overworked, underpaid, not appreciated, and taken advantage of, especially, in this extremely capitalistic society that we're in, I hope you quit one too. I just do. I believe that people should know their value. And when you do know your value, you won't be taken advantage of, not by people, not by corporations. So, yes, I've quit a job. I have 3 children by 3 different men. And if I were a man, no one would care. But I'm not a man, so you will care. And here's what I will tell you is I have the right to walk away from bad relationships even after I have children. Let me say that part again. I have the right to walk away from bad relationships even after I've had children in them. Not only is it better for me, but it's better for my children. Okay? And I would hope that my daughters know that. That if it isn't good for you, leave it. And I think everybody's had some legal trouble, whether it's a speeding ticket, parking ticket, your taxes, a misdemeanor, whatever it is. What I know that legal troubles don't necessarily mean bad morals. The legal system is complicated. Government is complicated, right? And again, we do the best we can based on who we are and what we know at the time. I have not always done it as great as I would like, as soon as I would have liked. But I say this all the time and I mean it. There's a difference between knowing something and knowing something, right? I can know in my head that, girl, if you want to lose weight, you need to burn off more calories than you take in, make sure that you get active, drink lots of water, and take your tail to sleep. But that doesn't mean that I know in my heart how to undo the depression or the anxiety or, the worries that keep me from doing those things, right? So legal trouble happens. So those are all the things that my opponent would tell you is a reason that you should not elect me in Congress. And what I would tell you is none of those things matter, because in Congress, I'm not, nobody's going to be passing a bill about how many kids you can have by how many different daddies, at least not while I'm in office, right? What matters is that in Congress, you want somebody who has been in situations that are difficult. You want somebody who knows what it is to be scared of legal trouble. You want someone who knows how to learn lessons later in life, because it builds compassion. It's not enough to just have intelligence. It's not enough to have a ton of donations. It's not enough to have the right sponsors and corporate and all of that. Do you know what it is? You have to have compassion. You have to have commitment and dedication, and you've got to be able to stand in the face of all the naysayers, all the people that want to point out all the bad things about you, and wonder what it is you don't want them to see in them. What do they not want you to see? If they want you to see me and my baby daddies, or the fact that I've quit a job, or the fact that I've had an AB, what do they not want you to know about them? And the truth is, I don't even care. Do you know what you should know about me is I will fight for you the same way I will fight for my kids. I'm a mama bear. All of these things make me the best candidate for you because I represent the majority of the people in America. The majority of the people in America have different babies by different daddies. The majority of the people in America have had legal trouble, have fired people, have quit jobs. been divorced, right? I'm you. And that's why I'm running for Congress. That's it. Boom. That's my 3 to 5 minutes, right? Um, and after that went out on social media, the next thing it would be is, hey, here's an invitation to my town hall because I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you and I want to tell you, I want you to share with me what it is about me that concerns you, right? Shut up, Cam. um, but this is what I would do. And then the next thing you would do is in a week, we would have a virtual town hall. Because unlike other folks, I'm not scared to talk to my constituents. Whether you agree or disagree with me, it's okay. Let's talk. What are you scared of? Whatever I find out about you, I will not make your worst time be the only thing good about you. I will not make your worst mistake be your identity. I won't do it. And I hope you don't do it to me. See what I'm saying? So that's how I would handle it for my candidate. Right? And then we'd have this virtual town hall, right? 3 hours, 3-hour town hall. We would pick out the people that RSVP for that town hall. And we would pick out some of them that said, what are the things that most concern you? The fact that she quit a job, the fact that she's had legal troubles, the fact that she had an AB, the fact that she has multiple babies and babies' daddies, right? Which one is the most concerning for you as in Congress, and why? And then we take, let's just say 500 people RSVP for the town hall, 10% of them. And we talk to them afterwards. We send everybody emails afterwards and say, hey, what was the best thing about the town hall? What did we miss? Where did you not feel heard? How can we do better? And how do you feel about her today as your candidate before the town hall? How do you feel now compared to how you felt at the beginning? And then you take the best of those, right? And you run ads. And you run ads on social media, you run ads on radio, you run ads on TV. That's what you do. And then you go show up in your district and you show up at county commission meetings and you show up at festivals and you show up at farmers markets, right? Find out who are the richest and the poorest people in your districts and spend time with them. How do you get individuals and or local companies to donate to you? You don't. You don't. You allow them to. If it were me, if it were me, so somebody's asking me, how do you get people or companies or local companies to donate to you? So for me, this would be my take is I would have a part on my website for the candidate that lays out all of the fees. If there are requirements by the party for you to fundraise a certain dollar amount, that would be on my website. I would be 100% transparent about the fees and the deadlines and the requirements of the political parties in the game. And I would tell people, this is the part that I don't like and I don't want to do. I'm not asking you for money. I'm not. If you want to give it to me, great. Here's what's needed, or I don't qualify. So if you want me to qualify and you want to contribute, amazing. And if you don't, and I don't qualify, then that's okay. It means I've done whatever it was I was intended to do for this race. If it is meant for me to sit in Congress, I will sit in Congress. Oh, no higher education? Oh, that's easy for me. Mind's eye. I am a high school graduate, real talk. And I have about 3 years of college, but I didn't graduate. Can we do TBI? Hold on, Jesus. Can we do TBI, memory issues, family with criminal backgrounds, low education, just no education, just degree. Yeah. Like I just did that. Okay. Don't y'all love me role playing? Yeah, we can do disabled. Be specific, Cheryl, though. When you say differently abled, in what way? Okay. So let's do TBI and brain memory issues. I would handle that one like a joke, and we can do PTSD too. Yep. PTSD. All right. So if you're running for office and you have memory issues as the result of a TBI, this would be how I would handle it. The first thing that I would do is I would tell a joke. I would say, okay, so listen, one of the things that you should know about me, right, is that I suffered a traumatic brain injury. So I have some memory issues. Now, that's okay because that's the majority of Congress because they're all over 80. So nothing new over here, folks. Nothing to see. Just kidding. Real talk, though. So because I do know that I have a traumatic brain injury, see how y'all are laughing? That's what I would do. I would tell a joke. That's what I would do. Nothing to see here, folks. That's the majority of Congress today, right? And then what I would say is, no, but for real, it would be irresponsible of me to run for Congress, knowing that I have a traumatic brain injury that causes memory issues and not be, number one, transparent with you so that you know that it's here, right? Number two, tell you my plan on how to deal with it. So that you know how it's and you know how this will not be something that is an issue for me as your representative in Congress. So for those of you guys who are just joining my live, I don't have a TBI. Somebody else in the chat does. People are giving me different situations that they feel might hinder someone from running for office, and I'm giving them a way that I would address it. Guys, don't address Patman. Nobody even gives a fuck what Patman is saying. Listen, when people come in my lives and they want to talk about Obama, tell me you're racist without telling me you're racist, because you're only doing that because my ass is brown. But number two, it tells me, y'all still mad at that man. Y'all still mad that that beautiful brown man was the president of the United States of America for 8 damn years. Woo! Low B. That's good stuff right there. And his tan suit. Okay. All right. So let me finish what I was saying. So I would start off with the joke, right, about the memory loss thing, and then I would say this. It would be irresponsible of me to not share with you all that I've had a TBI and that it does sometimes cause memory issues, right? So a couple of things that are in place. I have a fantastic staff around me that they make sure that they take notes that I can go back and that I can refresh myself with so that I don't forget things. So that would be number one. I keep notes with me to stay on point so that I adequately and appropriately represent you. Traumatic brain injury, Wombat. That's what it is. TBI. Girl, not UTI. I can't with you, Sandy. And so, I think everybody has memory issues, to some degree, right? For a variety of reasons. What is the most important thing for you to know is that I have an AI note taker. I have human beings that are great staff, and I review 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after every session and highlight the facts that I need to know. Right. So that's what you should know about that. And that's why it's not something that will be a negative for me. Okay. Another reason why I would never be embarrassed about that or keep it from let it keep me from running for Congress is because I want differently abled people to know that just because they show up differently doesn't mean not qualified. Differently doesn't mean not qualified or that it's undeserved. Okay. I have a granddaughter who was born at 1 pound and 3 ounces. She processes differently, right? She has an IEP, something that takes a certain amount of time. She gets 30 minutes extra. that 30 minutes extra might be like whatever to other people, but it's just what she needs. And guess what? She reads on the 5th grade level as a result. So it's not about doing things the average way or the most common way. It's about doing them in an effective way. Okay. So, and I want children that might have different issues to know that they can still sit in Congress or the White House or wherever they want to sit. Okay. What was the other one? Somebody said TBI with memory loss. And then I scribbled something else and I don't know what it, PTSD. Gotcha. Well, I can do this one for real because it's a thing, right? Here's what I would say. Right. Listen, Wawa, not only can they have a seat at the table if they want, they can be the head of the damn table, right? They can make new tables, whatever it is that they want to do. So the family backgrounds, low education, PTSD. Got it. Okay. So let's do PTSD and then I'll do family with criminal backgrounds after this. All right. So, family with criminal backgrounds, PTSD, and hold on one second. Yeah, I handled low education already. So let me do family background and PTSD. I'll do PTSD first. Okay. I'll do PTSD first. All right. So folks, let me just share this with you. So I have been given the diagnosis of having post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay. Some people will believe that's a real thing. Some people don't. And that's fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. However, I'm entitled to mine and my healthcare, right? So what do you need to know about that for you? Actually, not much. And I'll tell you why, right? I have a therapist. I have an active management plan. It's just like any other health condition, right? It's handled appropriately. And so what I will tell you about my PTSD is it's actually like none of your business. By the way, you probably have it too in some form or fashion or another. Like I truly do believe this, to be quite frank. The way that we live our lives as a society right now, where every day there's breaking news, or you can just be scrolling on your computer and all of a sudden there are extremely traumatic traumatic images on your phone in front of your face. I believe that the majority of our children have it. I believe that a majority of our women have it, and our men. Well, a lot of times when people think PTSD, they think, a soldier coming home from war and there's been some catastrophic whatever. Listen, that's not what it is. And it's not a lifelong diagnosis for everyone. And it shows up and it leaves in just different ways. So here's what I would tell you about PTSD is I would never be ashamed to say that I have it because I'm a human being, right? And I would want anyone else again to know that they had to who has it to know that they are not alone. Okay. It's nothing to be ashamed of. And outside of that, it's really none of your business other than to know that I have a medical team that takes care of that with me. Okay. Here's the thing, people, transparency does not mean intimacy. So I can be transparent with you about what is going on in my life and what I'm doing about it. And if it will or will not impact you. And outside of that, that's all I owe you. So as your representative, okay, you have a right to expect for me to represent you diligently in that office, to do the will of the people and to vote and put forth legislation that is good for you. It does not mean that you own me though. Right? I work with the people, right? But you don't own me. Those days are over. I know some might like to bring it back, but those days are over. So I will always respect your privacy, and you will, and hopefully you will respect mine as well. So that would be how I would handle that. Family with criminal background checks, with criminal background issues. Here's what I would say is that We live in a society where people are often demonized for the communities and the families that they come from, especially if those families have horrible, or have criminal backgrounds, right? Especially if they are party favor related, or things like that. And here's what I would say is that I might have a cousin who's been in jail for selling party favors on the corner. But, I know people sitting in Congress who have family members or husbands, Diana Harshbarger, who have served federal time for for selling fake party favors to patients, right? And what I know as a society is we tend to demonize poor criminals and not rich criminals. That would be number one. We demonize poor criminals, but not rich criminals. That's number one. Number two, a person's mistake is not the all of who they are. Okay. I am never going to stop loving someone in my family because they've had criminal trouble. What we know is that there are lots of people in this country who are targeted for that reason. Right? We know that we have a criminal system, a criminal justice system that targets poor people, that targets marginalized people, and so you'd be hard pressed to find anyone who doesn't have someone in their family and someone in their life that's had an issue. So what I will tell you is that my family is really none of your business. They're not running for office. I am. So keep my family out your mouth and we'll be okay. Real talk. Okay. My family is not running for office. I am. So keep my family out your mouth. I grew up in the South, right? And what we say is family takes care of family business. Okay. So I will defend my family as fiercely as you will defend yours. And I think that's fair. And you should want that in me. That's how I would handle that. Sandy Hush. But that's how I would handle that one. Family with criminal backgrounds. PTSD already handled education. I handled ABs, quitting jobs, multiple baby daddies, DUIs, all of that. No, Melanie Shaw, I'm not running for office. So here's wait, let me level set. Okay. And let me level set. No, Roberta, here's what I promise people. Okay. This is what I said. Here's what I said is that this all started because I said, we're going to have a conversation that no seat should be running unopposed. So what I said is in the state where I currently reside, there are two conservative GOP Republican senators. And what I said is I will put my actions behind my words, and because I don't like asking people to do things that I'm not willing to do. Good. Yeah, no, Sandy. But what I said is that when it comes that time, if nobody is running against either of my two senators, then I will gladly dog walk their ass and run. And so, and I was encouraging everyone else to do the same. And I said, maybe there are things in your life that make you feel like you can't run. Maybe there are things in your past that you feel like might keep you from running. So I addressed whether or not people might have had an OnlyFans, or they've had an AB, or they've had a DUI, or they got 3 kids with 3 different baby daddies, whether they don't have any degrees and they just have, a high school education. That people were giving me different scenarios. I got you, Fierce. I can do that. I'm writing it down so I come back to it, Fierce. And so what happened is on this live is people started giving me different scenarios on how I would address those things. And so that's what I started doing. And then I started laying out what I would be like if I were someone's campaign manager. So like the first one that I addressed was somebody said, well, what if you've had an AB, quit a job in the past, had 3 kids with 3 different dads, and had a kid in legal trouble? And so I addressed that and I said, here would be the way that I would handle that. It would be a 3-part scenario. The first part would be a 3 to 5 minute social media video, right? I can handle that too. Give me a second. I can do that one too. Atheism, religion. I got you. I wrote that one down too. And so I said it would be a 3-part different, a 3-part scenario. So the first part would be, the 3 to 5 minute social media video, right? Where you're just, and I kind of spit out what I would say. And then it would be followed by an invitation to join a virtual town hall 1 week later. When people RSVP'd for that virtual, yes, I can throw that in there too. And then I added, and then I said, when people RSVP'd for the virtual town hall, that one question that they would ask would be, it would be, out of all the issues that you heard in this, right? What's the one that would most concern you? In her role as in Congress, and why? And then you would have all of those answers. And then at the end of the town hall, after, you would email those same people and ask that same question after the town hall. How do you feel about this issue, right? Today, after this town hall event, compared to how you felt before we had it, right? And then the third step is, after you collected all of that information, you would take the best 50 of those, the best 10% of those. Oh, sorry, Amy, sweetheart. And then I would use those for TV ads, radio ads, and all the things. And then on top of that, I would then, after that, it would be, I would divide the district. I would divide that district up into 3 to 5 parts, depending upon the size of the territory. And then there would be a scheduled travel to each of those areas, to county commission meetings, to board of alderman meetings, to city council meetings, to board of supervisor meetings, to festivals, to farmers markets, to all of those things, right? Okay, I got that, Uka. Okay, I can do that one too. Change political party. Whew. Okay, so thanks, Wawa. I do what I can. All right. Okay, so here we go. I've been asked now to address somebody with debt. I've been asked to address a candidate who has a religion, right? Whether they are into spirituality or atheism, or they're an atheist. And then I was asked to also add in something else. Maybe that was it. All right, so let's do debt first. So if someone were running for office and they have debt, type of debt is going to matter. I don't know, Cam. I'm going to give you an example. I got it. Changing political parties. Thanks. I wrote it down somewhere else though. Hold on. Changing parties. Got it. Thanks, Uka. All right. So here's what I would say is about debt. All right. So this is the way that I would address that one just head on. All right. So I'm going to give you an example. I don't know if you all remember this, but when Stacey Abrams ran for governor in 2018, she had payment arrangements with the IRS for money that she owed to the IRS. Did you all know that? She takes care of her parents, and as a result, she was doing things to make sure that she took care of her family, and so she owed money to the IRS. And in 2018, and there were people that stood up and tried to give her a hard time about it. And her response was, the IRS and I have a great relationship. We have payment arrangements set up and whatever, right? But people wanted to make that a thing, that an issue for her. So when you say that the type of debt matters, so let's do a couple of different scenarios. Let's do a back child support scenario. What's another one? What's another? Give me another type of debt scenario that you all want me to do. Student loans. Okay. Can I do that one first? Oh, and we can do medical. Yeah, we can do medical debt. Um, okay. Bankruptcy. Got it. Cool. Foreclosure. Jesus. Mel Gray, I don't know that I consider gambling debt, and I'll tell you why in a minute, right? Okay, so here, the first thing that I would do, is if I were gonna do student loans, I would start this conversation the same way that I started the conversation about TBI/memory loss, with a joke. The first thing that I would say is, for those of you all who are concerns, or you are making my student loan debt an issue in this campaign, my response would be, then you should have let Joe Biden forgive it. If you had just let Joe do his job, this would not be an issue. Okay, no, here's what I would say, really, and I would make that joke. Because immediately, that's exactly what I thought when y'all put student loans. That was the first thing I thought was, well, shit, you should let Joe do his job. So we can lump many of these things together. So let's talk debt. Let's talk credit card debt. Let's talk bankruptcy. Let's talk medical debt. Let's talk all of those things. There are millions upon millions of Americans who, the number one cause of becoming homeless is medical debt. The majority of this country is one significant health issue away from not having a house over your head, not being able to pay your bills, and falling dramatically behind. So, for people who have an issue with the fact that I've had medical debt in my life, what I would say to you is, maybe you've been blessed enough to be healthy this entire time, or live in a state that has expanded Medicaid, or you come from a country that has universal health care. I do not. None of those things apply to me. So if my opponent wants to say, oh, she's had or she has medical debt, then 100%, that's absolutely it. No, no, no lie. Here's what I would say is that I shouldn't. We live in the greatest country in the world. At least that's what we claim. And if we live in the greatest country in the world, I don't believe that any of us should be bogged down and have to choose between our homes and medical debt. Not when we have hospitals and healthcare systems that pay their CEOs tens of millions of dollars. They have administrators at double the number than they have providers, and they're paying them anywhere from $250,000 to $5 million for each single one of those, right? They got 4 VPs in one damn department, right? And then typically an office manager that's doing all of their jobs. So the question isn't, do I have medical debt and does that make me a bad person? The question is, why do I have medical debt in the United States of America? That's the question. The question is, why does the United States of America fall behind 180 other countries when it comes to healthcare? The answer is vulture capitalism. It is greed. That's the answer. And not just from the healthcare systems and hospitals, but from the insurance industry. So if you're like me and you've had your fair share of medicine, then be glad I've experienced it and I know what it's like. And now you can trust me to fight it for you. So that's how I would handle medical debt. Okay. That's how I would handle medical debt if I were running for office. How would I handle gambling? Here's what I would say is that if somebody has had a history of gambling, that's one thing. If someone has a relevantly recent history of gambling, they should not run for Congress. That's my personal opinion. And the reason why is if you are susceptible to loan sharks on the streets, you are damn sure going to be susceptible to super PACs and dark money. No, I don't work with the DNC, Daisy Jane. But that's my opinion. So if your gambling is in the last 5 years, sit your ass at home and just help somebody else's campaign. Okay? Because you're not ready. Congress is some of the worst sharks out there. Okay. So that's how I would handle that one. Okay, so next, I'm going to spirituality slash atheism, right? Atheist, because I was asked to. Spirituality slash atheist slash religion. Okay, so I'm going to do that. The TikTok Olivia Pope, I got you. And then the next one after this that I will handle is the changing of political parties. And so, what is the purpose of me covering all of these things? It's for those of you all who have thought about running for office, but you've been scared to because you might have any one of these things or multiple of these things in your past and been scared to. And so I want to be able to give you, you know, ways around that and ways to address it and to know that you can still run. Right. If I were to tell you, like my friend Afton Ben told me, because I told her, I said, if I was ever going to run, it would be for Congress. Because specifically in the states that I have lived in the states that I have lived in, most recently, and one of them for the longest, right? I'm from Tennessee. It would, let me say this. It's not because I have any desire to actually be in Congress, but the opportunity to absolutely dog walk Marsha Blackburn just makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. Or Diana Harshbarger, either one. But I don't live in Tennessee anymore. So neither of those ladies like me. And I wear that with a badge of honor. Fuck both of them. Okay, so so let's do religion slash spirituality slash atheism. So the first person that asked me to address this said atheist, right? Here's how I would handle that. Again, social media first and foremost. And it would be kind of like the same format. Okay. But here's what I would say to people about spirituality. The first thing that I would say in this video is what I would have if I were the candidate, right? I would say this. I would say this is probably gonna be one of my least favorite videos that I have felt the need to do as a candidate for Congress. And the reason why I feel that way is because my faith is 100% none of anybody else's business. I truly believe that. I do not believe that it is your right to know if I believe in God, what God I believe in, if I worship, if I don't, where I worship, do I pay tithes, whatever. Do I believe in angels, unicorns, and leprechauns? It's none of anybody else's business. I don't believe that it's my business what you believe, right? Appreciate you, macaroni. And so this is my least favorite video to do because you do have a right to ask questions about my debt. You do have a right to ask questions about my political party affiliations. You do have a right to ask questions about my level of education. You do not have the right to ask questions about my faith. Having said that, we live in a country where many people believe that we were founded on Christian values. What those people don't also realize is that those values don't belong to one particular religion or to religion, period. Values exist inside and outside of organized religion. So here's what I would say to you is watch me. Watch what I say, watch what I do, watch how I treat constituents, um, watch how I treat people, and then you judge my fruit. Rather than trying to determine what you think about me based on a religious affiliation, determine what you think about me by my fruit. Do that. And if you look at me and think that my fruit is bad, then my faith won't matter. So I don't care if my opponent tells you I'm an atheist, if they tell you I'm agnostic. I don't care what my opponent tells you about my faith. What I'm going to tell you is that's between me and whatever I believe in, not you. You're a constituent, not the creator. And number 2, judge me by my fruit. That's all I got, folks. Here's what I promise is I will never try to put my faith in your schools or in your laws. How about that? That's all you need to know about my faith, is that I will never try to govern your life based on what I believe. And that's all you need to know. Oh, because that's what I mean. Inger, I really mean this. Right? So that's what I would say. And the last one, changing political parties. Perfect. Let's do this. Okay. So if I have a candidate, or if I'm a candidate and I have recently changed political you love how you use biblical words. Absolutely, Eve. Yep. You use what people know and what they're going to resonate with, right? All right. So let me give you this one. Oh, Sharon, I'm not really running. No, Tracy, I'm not. No. Let me level set the room one more time, okay? The reason this came about, the practice that you see me doing right now, is because we started talking about the things that we can and we cannot do, and what we do and we don't control, right? So we don't control the federal courts. We don't control the Supreme Court, although you can contact the Supreme Court, and I have put the ways to contact the Supreme Court in my link tree. Thank you, Brandy, for reminding people to power tap. I appreciate it. I think people are so busy listening that they are forgetting to tap today. And so then what happened, Tracy, is I said to people, there should be no post running unopposed, right? Do not let a seat run unopposed. And because I said that, I said, I will make you all a deal. I'll make a promise. If we get to the time and no one is running against either of my state senators, then I will run against one of them. Not state, I lied. Congressman, Congress. Congressional senators. That's what I said. Okay. And I would happily dog walk either of those two gentlemen. And so then what I kept saying to people is this, is oftentimes people believe that they can't run because of situations, right? And I said, so maybe you feel like you can't run for office because you've had an OnlyFans, or because you were in sex work, or because you had medical debt, or because you've been divorced, or because you whatever. And so people in the chat have been giving me different scenarios that they want me to address, and share with them how I would handle that. Okay. And so that's what I'm doing, right? What if you're afraid you don't have the experience? Perfect. You want me to handle that one, Jacks of all trades? Let me tell you this. So let me share this with you all. When I considered about whether or not I was going to run for Congress, I wasn't worried about, was I smart enough, or did I care enough, or, could I do it? What I was concerned about was, did I have enough experience? And what I've come to realize is that the best experience that you get is on the job. The experience that I have that matters is I've experienced not having health insurance. I've experienced trying to navigate the tax system. I've experienced a failing education system. I've experienced not having the right support services for my children in school. I've experienced unaffordable housing, right? I've experienced all of the things that you have experienced. And what I've come to realize is that those are the experiences that make me qualified for Congress. You don't want someone who's experienced at sitting behind a damn desk and talking shit and giving news interviews. You want someone who's had the same life experiences that you have so that they can now advocate for you. So yeah, imposter syndrome, it pops up, and my opponent loves to remind me that I don't know shit about politics, and they're right, I don't. But I know a lot about people, and I have great ideas about policy. And I believe that knowing about people, caring about people, and having good ideas for policy makes me qualified, and it will get me experience. So, Jax, that's how I would handle that if I were you. If that's what you're worried about, Jax, that's your talking point. Morals are subjective, Lisa. Remember that. Morals are subjective. You will almost never hear me talk about morality because morality is subjective. And morality is subjective, and it will be justified based upon religion, right? And so what I would rather talk about is people, policy, and compassion. Because compassion is a driver regardless of people's moral compass, right? Changing of parties. All right, let's do changing of parties. Okay, so somebody tell me, how do you want to do it? How do you want to do it? Are we changing from, if I'm somebody who's changed from Republican to Democrat or from Democrat to Republican? How are we doing it? What do y'all want me to address? Republican to Dem? Gotcha. Whew. All right. So this is how I would do Republican to Democrat. Somebody give a time frame. Have we changed in the last 4 years, 8 years, or 12 years? Good God. 482, 288, 2 weeks, 4 years, 2 years. Okay, so let's anywhere in the last 2 to 4 years. Okay, let's do it. All right, so here's what I would say. All right. This is the way that here's the way that I would address it. So sometimes people talk about changing political parties as if it's just something that just you do, right? It's not tough, Cam. I had to figure out how I wanted to do it real quick. So listen, political parties aren't about political parties. Political parties are about your perceived values, what you believe matters to you, and where your boundaries are. That's what drives your political party affiliation. Okay. For some people, that's religion. For some people, that is, financial success and all those other things. So for me, what I have seen is a party that that used to be driven by financial responsibility and the protection of assets and family wealth and all of those things. I've seen it dramatically shift. And it's now become a party, and I know that it's not everybody in the party, but I want you to hear me. When no one stands up for the party to say that we are not this, then we are that. So when the party is aligned with folks that are fascist or racist or sexist or all of that, if that's the driver, if that's the language, that I see pushing political ads and political policy, I have to now go, does that align with who I am? Does it align with who I am? And the short answer is no. I am not a quote unquote Republican, nor am I quote unquote a Democrat. I am an individual that cares about people, that wants us to have policy that protects people, right? That supports people, that puts people in the position to thrive, not just survive. And I believe that we can do that and have a good free market. I don't believe that we need vulture capitalism and corporate greed at the expense of people's lives. I think that we can balance that. Now, we have a political system that is set up where I have to run in one of these two categories if I want to win. Let's just be frank. If we could run as independents, I mean, Bernie is doing the damn thing, but he's about the only police that can do it, right? So if you hear the word Democrat and you have this visceral reaction to it, I would ask you to put that aside and just listen to who I am and what I value. And if your values align with mine, it doesn't matter if there's an R or a D at the end of my name. I had to be accountable to myself. You know, when you're little, your mama says things like birds of a feather flock together, and you'll know someone by the company they keep. I can't in good conscience keep company with people that are worth $2 and $3 and $400 billion when there are children in my district who do not have houses, who can't afford medication, who don't have well-funded schools. I cannot sit at $1 million, $50,000 plate dinners when there are elderly people in my district who are choosing between food and medication. Do you understand? Folks, I switched my party because the party that I used to belong to no longer aligned with my values. That's it. But you are not voting for a Democrat. You're voting for a person. You're voting for a person who gives a damn about people first, and then corporations. Because without people, there are no corporations. And that's why I switched parties. Hopefully you'll be able to get past that. Some will, some won't, and that's okay. I got to do my best. And that's it. Something to that effect, Uka. That's how I would handle that. How about a lack of voter history, new-ish to voting? Love that one, Cheryl. I love that one. Okay, so if I were someone that's new to voting or politics, period, and had never really voted before, this would be the way that I would approach that. So listen, I know some of y'all are really, really mad at me because of the current administration and the fact that I didn't vote, but I have learned my lesson. So just give a girl a break. Okay, but no, for real, like real talk. You know, I come from a place where there are mostly the haves and the have-nots, right? Old money doesn't accept new money, right? That's where I come from. And y'all are laughing at me. I'm just saying. And I grew up being told, so like, let me just share this with you. Here's something that I learned in life is that Black folk in the South are different in different populations, at least from my experience. Where I grew up, where less than 10% of the population is Black. And in my county, less than 5% of the population is Black. There's not a huge civil rights movement. There's not a pride around what it took to be able to vote. Now you go down to Montgomery, Alabama, or Selma, or Atlanta, and it's entirely different. Black folk there, they know what it took. So I grew up the majority of my life thinking my vote didn't count, no need in doing it, and with no real understanding of what it took to get the right to do it, right? And what the last 8 years has taught me is that my vote does count, because if it didn't, people wouldn't be working so hard to try to get me not to do it. And that it is something that I now understand is important. I don't get to control the whole world, but I get to do something. Like I can walk away at the end of the day and say, even if my vote didn't, if my vote is cast and we didn't win, I can say that we didn't lose because I didn't vote. Does that make sense? So yeah, my opponent is going to tell you she don't care about politics. She hasn't even been voting until the last few years, and they are not wrong. They're not wrong. But guess what? There are millions of you just like me. There are millions of you that have been told your vote doesn't count. It doesn't matter. There are millions of you out there that feel like the machine the wheel is gonna turn and you're just a spoke in the wheel, but you're not. You're not. What I have learned is we are the water that makes the wheel turn. So I'm going to keep flowing no matter what they say. And here's the thing. If my vote really didn't matter, if they weren't really afraid of it, they wouldn't spend so much time telling you I hadn't been doing it. So if you haven't ever voted, come talk to me. Right? That's the way I would handle not voting. Yep. Thanks, Rachel. That's the way that I would handle it. Let's role playing today. I didn't know we were going to do this on this live. And yes, Sandy, I do have Paula White up there. So, well, before we move on, do we have anything else that you all want me to go through? Anything else that you all want me to do before we move on to the next part, which is the bad faith is good business? It was great, Cam. Good. I'm glad. Y'all know that our girl had moodles on the blanket and went to sleep. Yeah, Deb, what's your question? The good life, right? Will I be on later? I'm not sure. Deb, to be honest, I'm not sure. I have a live podcast that I have to prepare for tomorrow evening. I'm going to have Joe Sudbay, who is the state of the. He has a show on Sirius XM Progress called State of the States, and he talks all things state legislatures, and so he's going to be on my podcast with me live tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be joined by Dr. Alex Mackey, who's a general surgeon in Kentucky. And we're going to talk about the state of healthcare in the United States of America. We're going to be talking about some of the dangers that exist with the mergers and whatever in hospitals, the higher numbers of people in the administration, and of course, ballot health, because she's from back home, right? So that's tomorrow night. I'm also going to live stream tomorrow morning the podcast at give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. I'm also going to do a live podcast tomorrow morning, because I want to make sure everything is good to go for tomorrow night and everything is running well. So I will post the link in the Discord in the general chat when I'm live tomorrow. on the podcast so that you guys can stream in. And what I'm going to ask you all to do is to listen from different platforms so that I know everything is working well before tomorrow night. Okay. So Deb, here's what I would say is that, yeah, you're welcome, Brandy. So here's what I would say when you're talking about crying in the office and things like that, right? I don't recommend that anybody stop crying. It's not healthy to stop crying. I think being able to manage your emotions and to be able to do things in a different Linda, watch recommending medications or asking about medications. I don't want TikTok to get me, please. And I don't ever bring up medications with people because I'm not a physician. Just I know that people do that. I don't. No, it's okay. Y'all see me start to stress out. Okay, so let me just say this. I think that I don't think anyone should want to stop crying, right? So Deb, let me just say this. When you say you're just emotional, is it yours? Is it your stuff? Because sometimes people will say I'm emotional all the time, but it's not because it's your stuff. It's because you're picking up other people's stuff around you. If you are an empath, if you are sensitive to the emotions of people around you, then you can be feeling stuff that ain't yours. So that's the first thing that I would ask you is it yours? Right? Yeah. And if it's not yours, then one of the things that you can do is literally practice putting yourself in a bubble, right? So literally put a mental picture of yourself in a bubble, whatever yours might look like, whether your bubble is like bright and shiny, whether your bubble is yellow or white or purple or whatever kind of bubble. Girl, your bubble might be polka dotted and neon, whatever, right? But what I would say is picture putting yourself in a bubble, right? And so that everybody else's stuff stays outside the bubble. And if you find yourself feeling overwhelmed, right, then you definitely want to be able to say and stop and say, okay, is this my stuff? And if it is not, get rid of it, kind of shake it off, right? And that, right. So Uka, getting grounded is a great thing. When you talk about getting lost alone in nature, absolutely. Bare feet in the ground is a great way to get grounded. Also different stones are great for grounding. So you might want to get a bracelet for grounding, and that sort of thing. So, howlite is really great for balancing emotions. So is amethyst, different stuff like that. So yeah, dirt helps chemically. Yep. So those are the things that I would recommend. Put yourself in a bubble, breathe, meditate. Yep, touching dirt, all the things. Yeah, so Rachel, when I can't get my feet into the dirt, then I have plants, right? Or shit. Where's my stone? I don't know. Y'all see me look, oh, this one. Yep, you can hug a tree. Yep, dirt church. All the things. Yep, inside plants, right? Yeah, but all of those are how to deal with it after the fact, Deb. I'm talking about how to manage it before it becomes overwhelming. So that's what I would recommend. I saw somebody else ask me another question before I answered Deb, and damn if I know what it was. It was another, running against somebody that has a lot of experience. So I love this. Veronica, I think passports are great if you can afford to get a passport, right? I think, let me just say this to y'all. I don't know why everybody is doing this. Like, oh, we should all get passports and in case things go crazy. If shit goes crazy, that passport ain't getting you the fuck up out of here. Y'all need to understand this. If the United States of America gets to a place that is so awful, you need to get a passport and run out of the country. Your ass ain't going nowhere. They shutting shit down. So here's what I would say to you. If you can afford to get a passport and there's somewhere you want to travel to and feel good in life, then do that. But in terms of, do I need to get a passport to save my life from America? Listen, they're not gonna let you. You see, they're doing right travel bans. I'm just saying, y'all. Come on, y'all. Deep breaths, people. Deep breaths. Okay. I'll do this one. Okay. So somebody asked about what about yes, right. Um, so let me just say this, folks. Okay. People that are talking about somebody asked me, what about can I get water real quick, guys? I need water. 1 second. I need water. I need water. I need water. All right. So somebody asked me, what if you are running against someone that has a lot of experience? I love this. So if you're asking, what if you're someone who's running for office and you're running against somebody that has a lot of experience and you don't have any? This is one of my favorites. And I can take this and use it in so many different ways. So let me give it to you. You ready? Okay. All right. So folks, listen, my opponent will tell you I'm a newbie. I don't know anything about running for office. And they do. They've been in the state legislature. They started local. They've worked their way up and now they're in Congress and they know what it takes to be a member of Congress. And here's what I'm going to tell you. I don't. And here's why that's good for you. I don't know how to be a politician, nor do I care to know. What I care about is being someone who has good policy for the people. So, yes, so-and-so over there has spent the last 10 years in Congress. My question to you is, how's that working for you? What's up, Jessica Simone, right? There's a reason they say the definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So, yeah, my opponent is correct. Yep, they have a ton of experience. And my question for you is, how's that working for you? How's it working for your family? How's it working for your children? How's it working for your daughters? How's it working? Let's just say, so I've given this example to folks that I know who are running for office and they're in rural areas or small towns, but they come from the city and they're an outsider. And what we know is that rural people in small towns and inner city people don't trust outsiders. So what I believe in doing is addressing the elephant in the room, right? So this is the way that I handled that scenario. It's very similar. All right, so listen, folks. There's a lot of talk around town, and the opponents around here are saying, you can't trust her. She's not from around here. And they're right. I am not from around here, but that does not mean you can't trust me. Okay? I'm not from around here, and I'm going to tell you why that is actually to your benefit. I am not beholden to the good old boys club. Nobody here owns me. I didn't go to school with nobody. My daddy didn't go to school with they papaw. Like there's no strings attached. I am only here for you. And that's what you should love. Yep, I'm an outsider. And that's great because I won't assume what you need. You'll get to tell me. The folks that have been here forever, they think they know what you need. They think they can speak for you because they're from here. I can't speak for you until you share with me what it is you need. So the reason this is so good for you, that I don't have a ton of experience and I'm not from here, is because you get to tell me what you need. And they don't get to make me do their dirty work. See? I love that one. That's how you do it. You need AI to take over? I don't. No, thank you. Yeah. So Jessica Simone, here's how we got with this, with me doing all the role plays today. So here's what happened. is when I got on this live, we started talking about, the stuff with the federal judge yesterday and the Trump administration telling the judge, we're just not going to give you that information, and people being all upset about it. And here's my thing. We don't get to control federal judges or the administration, but there are things that we can do. So for example, in my link tree, I have put the link for all the different ways to contact the Supreme Court. You want to write a letter, you want to make a phone call, you want to remind the Supreme Court what the founding fathers said in the Federalist Papers, or in what John Madison said in the Memorial to Remonstrance. You want to remind the court of those things. I've given you ways to do that. Okay. The second thing you can do, support the ACLU, right? And support NPR, PBS, Guardian, ProPublica. Y'all get it, right? Y'all get it. So you want to support the organizations that are fighting in court, like the ACLU, like Democracy Docket. Thank you, Witch. Democracy Docket. So those are the things that you can do for those things. Okay. The other thing is switch your brain from oh shit to that's amazing. Right. Mark Elias. Thank you, Veronica. I don't know why I want to name that man Ben, but like Mark Elias, right? So listen, instead of saying, oh my God, this is so horrible, say, oh my God, this is so great. Do you want to know why this is so great? This is so great because we are now seeing very clearly, where we have holes in our checks and balances. And that's a great thing, because now that we see where the holes are, we can team up with our local, state, and federal officials to close those loopholes. If we now have an issue, if we see that there's a problem having the Department of Justice be under the executive branch in case the federal judicial system needs them to execute something for them, then we need to be talking about that. Do we need to restructure government? Nothing ever lasts forever. Y'all listen, the Constitution and our democracy as we've had it has worked for the last couple hundred years, right? And now we need to bring it up to date. It needs an update. It needs an update to the system, right? It's operating software needs an update. Great. Let's identify what those bugs are. What are the bugs and the issues, and what are the potential fixes for those? And then we need to be about the business of making that happen. So shift your energy from, oh shit, the world's falling apart, to, hello, thank the Lord, we can fix this. Because let me just tell y'all something. This could have been happening with an actual smart person in office. Listen, we could be in this situation with an actual, intelligent, smart person in the Oval. We don't have that. We don't have that in him or in Elon. Ain't neither one of those folks real bright. They've just had money and been able to buy things that other people made to look like they are smart. Y'all hear me? And I want you to remember something. I don't give a shit how much they want to take certain words out of certain policy. There's not a single one of these bills in Congress that's changing law. Do y'all hear me? Show me a bill in Congress that undoes the Civil Rights Act of 1964, and then we got a reason to rise the fuck up and head our asses to DC and sit the fuck outside and protest. Like, show me that. But we don't have that yet. We have fake removal. Fake removal. You can take something out of a policy for the way an office runs itself, but that doesn't change the law. And right now, there are still protections in the law for Black and brown people. For women, there are still protections in the law. You got it? So somebody does some shit, they discriminate against you, file a fucking lawsuit in court. Executive orders are not laws, and changes in policy is not changes in law. The law is still the same. Do y'all hear me? The law is still the same. And this is why you better be knowing what judges are running for office in your towns, in your state, and in your districts. You hear me? You better be finding out who them damn judges are. And take your ass over to the Federalist Society and go see what judges and attorneys belong to that, because those people you do not want running for office. Okay? Go find out. Go find out if your representative is a member of ALEC, and then ask them why. Ask them what legislation have they put forward for ALEC. ALEC, by the way. Y'all got it? Let me tell y'all what y'all worried about. So this is just like your husband. You get ready to get divorced, right? And your husband says, you ain't getting shit. And da-da-da-da-da-da. And you know what? Look, you ain't gonna get the car. You're not gonna get this. And ain't nothing he's saying changing the prenup. Did you hear me? Ain't nothing he's saying changing the prenup. So here's my thing. We can say he's not respecting law. I don't give a shit. He doesn't have to. So this, again, Leslie, we can't, that's not within my control. The only thing I can do is know how to fill in the gap and fix it. You can be on the oh hell no page. That's fine. But I'm not going to spend my energy on the oh hell no page. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They are throwing shit on the wall and seeing what sticks. Hey, I wonder what happens if we tell a federal judge we're not going to tell you that. Well, they're going to find out what will happen. And then we will find out and then we'll find out what happens to the DOJ or the U.S. Marshals. Do they do their job? This is a find out moment. We've never been here. But I'm not going to sit up here and get all worked up about some shit that I can't do anything about. I'm going to focus on the things that I can do something about. And I'm going to remember that the laws are still the damn laws. Half the shit that Trump's doing doesn't change your every damn day life yet, folks. When you go to court, you're not going to the District Court of Washington, D.C. You're going to the court where you live. But so, nickname, you're saying something, A, that you don't know to be true. You're assuming, and I'm not saying that it's an unfounded assumption. What I'm saying is, A, you're assuming, and number two, you're putting something out into the universe that you don't want to be true. That is one of my biggest pet peeves. It makes me literally want to just pull my hair out. I cannot stand it when people say, oh, that ain't nothing going to happen because of so, well, for fuck's sake, nope, ain't nothing going to happen. Keep saying the negative. Keep doing. How's that working for us, y'all? For the past 8 fucking years, everybody has been talking about how bad it's going to get. And thank you, here we are. Stop talking about how bad it's going to get and talk about how good we can make it. It beats all I've ever seen. People want to focus on the negative more than they want to wake up and smell the damn roses. I don't understand it. I don't know. Let me tell you something. Can I just give y'all a damn example? If you had told me 4 years ago that Amy Coney Barrett would have stood up to Donald Trump and broke from the norm, I would have said, ain't no fucking way. If you had ever told me that that Judge Amy would have broke ranks against Trump, I would have said, nope, she'll never do that. And she did it. She did it. So stop saying people won't do something because you don't know. Ain't not near one of us, Miss Cleo. She broke ranks. You better start talking what you want. Last week. That's why they all calling her a rhino now, Patrice. That's why she looked at Trump like he was gum on the bottom of her damn shoe. Stop butting me. Don't butt me and don't what if me. Don't butt me and don't what if me. Not in the negative. Not in the negative. Be responsible for your energy. Be responsible for your words. Be responsible for your actions and focus on what you want to create. It is not pretending like bad shit ain't happening. But it's not wasting your time on the bad shit you can't do nothing about. Take a look at where you are spending all of that energy and ask you, is it benefiting you? Is it benefiting your children? Is it benefiting your grandchildren? Is it getting us closer to taking back the house? Is it getting us closer? I keep saying this. And I know some of y'all be like, damn, Dani, I get really upset about this because this is the minimal. Let me just tell y'all this. This is the small things. Y'all hear me when I tell you this. If you can't control your own thoughts, you can't control shit else. If you can't control your own energy and your own focus, you can't control shit else. If you cannot master yourself, you damn sure can't master nobody else. Too many people want to spend time focusing on everybody else that needs to be fixed, and they not worried about fixing theyself. Are you mindful of your words? Are you mindful of your energy? Are you mindful of what you are putting out? Hmm? This is what we call tough love. Right. Worry about yourself. So free Frida, let me just say this. So free Frida said, we must start showing love for one another. Love conquers hate. Let's love our neighbors. Do you know why that doesn't work? Can I share with you free Frida? Let me tell you my opinion of why that doesn't work a lot of the time. Because you cannot love anyone else if you do not love yourself. You cannot give what you do not have. Most people don't even know who they are, much less love who they are. Do you love who you are? Do you love how you spend your days thinking? Do you love the thoughts that cross your mind? Do you love the words that you speak? Do you love the energy that you put out? Do you love the energy that you leave people with? Do you? Or do you spend all damn day talking about how horrible your brain is, how bad your depression is, how challenging it is for you to control your own mind, and then you wonder why we can't have nice things? Because everybody is winning the game they are playing. If the game that you are playing is overwhelmed and ADD'd and ADHD'd and stressed the fuck out and oh my God, and if that's the game you are playing, you are winning. You need these signs again? So on Facebook and YouTube, y'all not gonna be able to see them because I'm on my computer. But I have 4 signs that hang on my wall in my living room. And I'll tell you what I will do. I will take a picture of those 4 signs. I will upload them to a Google Drive, and I will put the link in my link tree so that you may visit them as you deem necessary. Because the first sign says you will see it when you believe it. You want to know why you're not seeing something? Because you don't really believe it. Water lily. Right. T said, I say to myself, water lily, I love you and you is purty. You is kind. You is smart. You is important. Right? The next sign on the other side, it says, always remember you belong in the room. I don't care what room you find yourself in. I don't care what senator, what congressman, what mayor, what alderman, what city council member. I don't care. Whatever room you find yourself in, you belong in that damn room because you got put in that room. You hear me? If you are in the room, you belong in the room, no matter what somebody else tries to tell you, right? Third, the one at the top. You always win the game you're playing. Yeah, she just woke up, witch. Brandy said, please tap y'all, damn it. Because we are about to go. And let me just give y'all an example of how I know y'all have been listening and got caught up and didn't tap is because generally by this point, we're sitting at least 250,000 likes, generally. And then the last quote that is on my board, no worries, which the last quote that is on my board is a quote that I discovered via Brene Brown. And it is now a 3 foot by 2 foot stretched canvas that I designed and put on my wall. And here's what it says. It's my fave. Hey, sissy. You ready to go potty? Okay, well, don't forget you got to go potty on the toilet. So here's what it says. This quote is by Teddy Roosevelt, and it is called Man in the Arena. And here's what it says. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. So, Uncle Hippie Dan, I know that you're a subscriber, but you don't have to spread the word about AI in here. And I would appreciate it if you didn't do that because it is not conducive to the conversation that we're having. And it's actually distracting from what we're doing. Okay. So listen, my challenge to you, it's a quote, Erica, called The Man in the Arena. It's my favorite quote. It hangs on my living room wall. You don't have, Linda, he apologized. You can unmute. You don't have to mute. He apologized. So listen, be the person in the arena. Be the person in the arena, guys. Know that you're going to come up short. Know that you're going to make mistakes. Know that you're going to get it wrong, but be the person in the arena whose face is marred with dust and sweat and blood because you are striving to do the damn deeds. Because listen, at the very least, if you fail, you will fail while daring greatly, and your soul will never be amongst those timid souls that neither know victory nor defeat. And at the best, if you get it right, then what? What if we all strive valiantly and we win? That's the goal. Okay? That is the goal. Oh, all right. So listen, people, a couple of things that I need to leave you with. Okay. A, please visit the link tree. Okay. Make sure that you are still doing the due diligence. If you are in Florida, District 1, District 6, special elections, call your local elections commission, find out where you have special elections, primaries, all the things. Get plugged in with your people. A lot of people will say to me, you guys in the chats, a lot of times you'll say, join your local Democratic Party. And do you notice I don't ever saw that? It's called the man in the arena, Uka. Do you want to know why I don't ever say that? Because your local Democratic Party might be shit. And right now we ain't got time to be turning the Titanic. I don't know, Linda. I'm just being like real. Right now, we do not have time to be turning the Titanic. Awesome, Linda. Great. So get plugged in with your people. Find your people. Find your people and do the work. Okay? So I will be live tomorrow, definitely. Remember, tomorrow night's podcast is going to be the very first totally live stream podcast. Normally, I record the podcast interviews and then I put them up. Where are good places to look for people? Everywhere, Rachel. Everywhere, in the car pickup line, at the grocery store, at the festivals, at your farmer's market. Find your people at your neighborhood when everybody's at the pool or everybody's having the cookout or at the playground with the kids. Find your people. Try different organizations. Try Indivisible Tennessee. Indivisible Tennessee is doing great things. I'm going to tell you right now, get in touch with Afton Ben. She's over District 51 in Nashville. She will plug you into people and places and things. Libraries, Uka. Yes. You hear me? So, folks, it is about doing the work and preparing, right? Yeah, Afton's my girl, Rachel. I have known Afton now since 2019. And she's good people. All right. So, folks, things that I will say to you. Get your live people. So silver, platinum, and gold subscribers. We moved last night's meeting to a week from last night. So it's next Monday. Gold and platinum folks, we will be setting up our deal next week as well. So we will have another meeting as well as there's individual chapters everywhere. And I can tell you now that there are things happening. Go to your individual wherever in your states. If you are in rural places, please go to ruralorganizing.org. Sean Sebastian is the political director there. I'm unlocking the door. Hold on, y'all. Babies are here. And go to rural.
That's not my teacher, the woman.
Yes.
That's Dominic and my teacher.
Yep, that's Dominic and your sister. It sure is. Okay, so folks, cracking you up, Slim Shady. Yes, ruralorganizing.org is my jam. Okay, so if you're in rural places, do that. If you are in Michigan and you will live in a rural community, the Michigan Rural Caucus, Sean, SHAWN, Sebastian, Wawa, yes. So listen, if you are in Michigan, April 10th, 11th, 12th is going to be the Michigan Rural Caucus Convention. I will be there. I am a speaker there. I'm also running 2 breakout sessions during that conference. So I will be there. If you are in Virginia and you are part of the Virginia Rural Caucus, your Virginia Rural Caucus convention is the end of April in Natural Bridge, Virginia. I will be there. Appreciate you, Brandy, and appreciate everybody for hitting the 200K. Okay. So I will be there. I am also I'm the speaker there. I'm kicking off the Virginia Rural Caucus. So those are opportunities to get plugged in. If you live in rural places in Michigan or Virginia, you can find me there. Right. Southwest Virginia is trying to wake them up 100%. I have not been asked to come to any in New York, Uka, but I'm open. Tomorrow night's the podcast tomorrow night is at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the one earlier in the day. And hold on, I'm gonna get you the one earlier in the day. Let me tell you something. Southwest Virginia used to be blue until 2008. Southwest Virginia was blue, people, until that daggone pretty brown man got in office. I have not been invited to Georgia, but like I said, I'm open and would happily come. So let me get here. And so tomorrow morning at 11 a.m., the podcast is going to be live for 1 hour so that I can test it. Right. And so, yeah, the whole Friends of Coal campaign. Yep. You got it. So the podcast is tomorrow, right? 11 a.m. And then after that, I'll be live on TikTok. Okay. But that's because I need to do a test run for a good live streaming podcast. So if you normally listen to my podcast on Apple or Spotify or Pandora or Amazon or Audible, listen to it there as well. Yeah, I got real worked up, Sandy. And I don't even know if I turned my air back on because I turned it off earlier, right? But yeah, so listen. Yeah, they did, but I turned it off earlier because it got cold, Slim Shady. So I need to check to see if I turned it back on. Okay, so those are the things. Tomorrow, 11 a.m., podcast will be live, then live on TikTok at 12. Then tomorrow night will be Joe Sudbay from Sirius XM Progress's State of the States. And then Dr. Alex Mackey will be tomorrow night at 7 p.m., okay? We will talk more about this bad faith and good business because we got caught up in everything else today, but we'll talk about it again tomorrow because I really want to have a conversation about, thanks, Peculiar Eva, I appreciate that. I do want to continue to have a conversation. Somebody had the nerve to say, well, you're not a Christian. Let me listen. A, you don't know what I am or what I'm not. B, what I can tell you is my fruits are better than his. I'm pointing at Donald, by the way. Okay. That's what I know. So that's what I know. Right. Listen, Linda, what I do know is that. So what I know is you can say I'm not a Christian. That's fine. Christianity is a religion that is made up by men. Christianity is a religion that is made up by men, right? Just be clear. Organized religion, men, that's a man thing. In case y'all did not know, women have always understood spirituality, always. And our understanding and our power in it has always scared men. Just saying. They didn't burn witches, they burned women. Because somewhere along the lines, men lost their respect for the women that they used to go to for counsel. So, just saying. All right, I'm out of here. I got grandbabies home. I need to give snacks to everybody. I got to take Dominic to get his hair cut because we are wildly overdue for all of that. And then I still have other work to do. If you are in the Get Your Life Mindset, Nutrition, and Wellness program that I have, if you are in Get Your Life, There are 3 new things that have dripped down in the course for the 21 through 30. Those targets are now available in the course. Okay. So I appreciate you all very much. Thank you guys for hitting over 200K. Love you, mean it. And I will see you all later. Okay.